Ladies and gentlemen, may we please rise for the national anthem. Just before we take our seats, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, may we please remain standing as we observe a minute's silence in honor of the departed former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, who passed on Sunday and was buried yesterday. A minute's silence, please. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Please take your seats. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you're all warmly welcome to the opening session of Afnis 2025. I'd like to recognize in our midst our host, and that's the Minister of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Chairman of the Africa Minerals Strategy Group. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Dr. Oladele Alake. That applause can be better, please. He's our host. And also the Chairman of Africa Minerals Strategy Group, doing great things in that space. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, also present here are governors who are being represented. We have governors of Enugu and Benue State being represented. I'll quickly mention that of Benue State, who is being represented by the Deputy Governor. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Sam Ode, MNI. Also present with us is the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, all the way from Kenya, Honorable Hassan Ali Jeho. A round of applause for him. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, we also have with us some foreign participants who have come from far and wide to be a part of this occasion. And we would like to mention their countries for time so we can deal with the business of the day. We have representatives from Kenya, representatives from Liberia, representatives from Qatar, from Australia, from the United Kingdom, and some other African countries, which of course will be mentioned in the course of this event. I would also like to quickly recognize the presence of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Engineer Farouk Yusuf Yabo. Please, a round of applause for him. The ambassador of the state of Qatar to Nigeria is also here. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for His Excellency, Dr. Ali bin Ghanem Al Hajri. In the course of the event, of course, we'll make some more recognitions as we have them. Once again, you're all warmly welcome to the opening session of Afnis 2025. The theme for this year is harnessing local content for sustainable development. And like I already mentioned, for those of us who have joined Afnis since the beginning of the year, since 2022 when it started, of course, we know that Afnis is more than just a summit. It is indeed a gathering of great minds. And today we gather at a pivotal moment in Africa's development journey, a time when the global spotlight is turning towards sustainable energy, responsible resource management, and strategic investment. Africa holds some of the world's richest reserves of natural resources, from oil and gas to critical minerals, from vast sun-drenched landscapes to powerful hydro and wind potential. But our goal is not just to harness these resources. It is to do so in a way that empowers communities, strengthens economies, and secures a greener and more equitable future for generations to come. Now, Afnis 2025 is more than a summit, like I already mentioned. It is a platform for partnership. And over the coming days, we will engage in high-level dialogue, uncover new investment opportunities, and explore innovative paths towards energy transition, resource governance, and regional collaboration. Now, whether you're here as an investor, a policymaker, a researcher, or an advocate, your voice matters, and your presence is a catalyst for progress. So once again, I warmly welcome you to Afnis 2025. Please, a round of applause for yourselves. I am Ian Ray John, a broadcast journalist with the Nigerian Television Authority. And just so we can kickstart the event and understand why we are gathered this year, to do the opening remarks for us is someone who is a champion of institutional strength and operational excellence. He is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development. Please make welcome, for his opening remarks, Engineer Farouk Yusuf Yabo, as he comes forward.
His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, here ably represented by Dr. Henry Oladele Alake, CON, Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals Development of Nigeria. Your Excellencies, representatives of our executive governors, the deputy governors that are here, Your Excellencies, members of the Federal Executive Council of Nigeria, and honorable ministers from across Africa and beyond. Your Excellencies, members of the National Assembly, both from the Senate and the House of Representatives, distinguished members of the private sector, our judiciary, members of the diplomatic corps, and special envoys, distinguished esteemed guests, our delegates, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure and deep sense of responsibility that I welcome you to our young but very vibrant city, Abuja, for the fourth edition of African Natural Resources and Engineering Investment Summit, popularly known as Afnis 2025. And on behalf of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, and indeed on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, I extend our sincere appreciation for your presence and participation in this strategic continental dialogue that we're about to embark on. This year's summit convenes at a pivotal moment for Africa, a time when the continent is shifting its narrative from potentials to purpose, from resource-rich to value-driven, and from dependence to self-determined development. Afnis 2025 is not just a forum, it is a catalyst for Africa's transformation. The theme of this year's summit, which is harnessing local content for sustainable development, is both timely and compelling. It reflects our shared aspiration to leverage Africa's vast resources, both in terms of natural resources and energy resources, in a way that fosters inclusiveness, technological advancement, and economic resilience. Today, we are not merely discussing commodities. We are envisioning a future where minerals wealth are refined, processed, and utilized on Africa's soil, where our energy ecosystem is not just clean, but smart and equitable, where local talent is empowered, and Africa's communities are not bystanders, but beneficiaries of the entire value chain. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Africa's path to industrialization and energy security and prosperity is one that demands innovation, strategic collaboration, and bold investment similar to what we've seen yesterday at ASPA. We must foster enabling environment, one that encourages responsible investments, that upholds also transparency and accountability, and promotes technological leapfrogging. Afnis offers a unique platform to build such momentum. It allows us to exchange knowledge, forge mutually beneficial partnerships, and co-create frameworks that reflect Africa's priorities, Africa's solutions, and Africa's ownership. Let us seize this opportunity to move from PowerPoints to power plants, from plans to progress, and from dialogue to decisive actions. I invite you to partner with Nigerian and African stakeholders to build processing industries, to invest in skills and technology transfer, and to drive research and innovation in mining, clean energy, and resource governance. Let us be intentional in ensuring that the benefits of Africa's natural endowments are not only efficiently harnessed, but also equitably shared for present and our future generation. Distinguished delegates, as we embark on this important summit, let us be guided by a collective vision, an Africa that is resilient, an Africa that is reliant, self-reliant, and striving, empowered by its people and its resources. Once again, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you warmly to Abuja. I also welcome you warmly to Afnis 2025, and I invite you to enjoy the tranquility of this our great city. I wish all a very fruitful deliberation, productive engagement, and an enduring partnership as we spend the next 2 days engaging in shaping a new future that will be beneficial to all. I thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, indeed a powerful voice, and he is working with the minister to cause the change that we presently see in that ministry. Once again, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much. Before we move on to goodwill messages, just so we can be as fast as possible to get to the critical point of this event, which is, of course, the panel session, where we'll get to discuss and chart a path forward for the natural resources sector in Africa, I would quickly like to make some more recognitions. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, it is an honor to recognize and, of course, introduce here with us, representing the Bauchi State Governor, Honorable Mohammed Meiwada. Please, a round of applause for him. We also have Governor Robertson Joseph, who is the Governor, Central Bank of Liberia. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, I must mention one of our key sponsors, our gold sponsor, CEO of Store Explorations is here. Please, a thunderous round of applause for Shegun Lawson. Thank you for joining us in person this time. We appreciate you. Just to quickly mention that we have some partners and sponsors for this event. They are the engine behind what you see at the moment. And Your Excellency, with your kind permission, I'd like to mention just a few of some of the sponsors of this event. I already mentioned Tor Explorations. They are the gold sponsor. Aspa and Wisdom International Limited is also one of our sponsors. Segilola Resources Operations Limited is also on that list. Geoscan Technology, Esoterra, Excalibur Smart Mapping, Oil Dynamics Limited, Kaduna Electric, African Natural Resources and Mines, and of course the different ministries that have partnered with the core organizers of this event to make it a success. Please, once again, a round of applause for our partners and our sponsors. It's now time to have some goodwill messages, and to give a goodwill message at this point is none other but Dr. Linda Lawson. Please, a round of applause for her as she comes forward. We'd like to sincerely apologize for some of our dignitaries who couldn't make it, like the Senate President and some other key government officials, like already mentioned, is as a result of the mood of the nation. Thank you so much to our foreign delegates for their understanding. Now time to listen to Dr. Linda Lawson, all the way from the Queensland University. A round of applause for her.
Thank you very much for welcoming me and giving me just a few minutes to speak with you. As mentioned, thank you. Let me begin by saying, Excellencies, Honourable Ministers, distinguished guests, friends, colleagues, sponsors, and my dear students. I've spent many years as a leader of short courses and capacity building given by the University of Queensland, and I have many of my students even in this room today. So thank you very much. It's a great moment for me. It's a great honour for me to be here with you in this beautiful city of Abuja. I work for the University of Queensland. I work for the Global Centre for Minerals Security. This is a new centre, and we are embracing the concept of mineral security rather in the sense of water security and food security. We're looking and researching, and all our work at the moment is looking at the role of minerals in securing everyday human development, for example, for shelter, for sustenance, for energy, for transport, for roads. It puts people and their needs at the heart. We're coming up, in 5 years, we will be reaching the end of the first round of Sustainable Development Goals, do you realize that minerals have no place in that Sustainable Development Goal? They were not mentioned. We hope the next iteration will not do that, because we all know, and as this message that we have today, harnessing local resources with minerals is crucial. But I am here as part of the Nigerian Indigenous Women in Mining Natural Resources Organization. It's quite a mouthful. We shorten it to NIRIMRO, and this is a new initiative, and it's already making some wonderful impact on the lives of rural women. Yesterday we had 40 women coming from different parts of Nigeria, women who are iron miners. And we worked with them over the last few months on health and safety. So these are initiatives that are very dear to our heart, and I would really appreciate your continued support and prayers for our work. I would just like to conclude by wishing you all the very best for your days of work together, and may you have a glorious time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Linda Lawson, Senior Research Fellow at the University of Queensland. Globally respected, Lawson's work on artisanal mining blends academic rigor with real-world impact, spotlighting how innovation can uplift and the informal mining sector. Once again, a round of applause for her, Dr. Linda Lawson, for her goodwill message. We'd like all those who will be delivering goodwill messages to please be as brief as possible because of time. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, I would like to make some quick recognitions. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, Engineer Felix Omashola Ogbe, is in the room. Please, a round of applause for him. Also present here is Engineer Shaibu Kabriu Bello, MD, Kaduna Mining Development Company. He's representing Kaduna State Governor. Please, a round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us. It's also an honor to introduce Honorable Mohammed Mewada Bello, Commissioner, Ministry of Natural Resources Development, Bauchi State, representing the Governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Mohammed, CON. And of course, representing the Minister of Women Affairs, we have with us Dr. Miriam Keshinro, the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. Please, a round of applause. It's women o'clock. It's women o'clock. I can't hear the women make some noise. Do we have women who agree that it's women o'clock? It's women o'clock. A round of applause for yourselves. Thank you very much. All right, we progress to the next goodwill message, and that will be delivered by the Deputy Governor of Benue State. The Deputy Governor of Benue State will be delivering the next goodwill remark. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Sam Ode, MNI, as he steps forward.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals and other members of the Federal Executive Council, state governors and their representatives who are here, members of the diplomatic corps. It is my pleasure to give a goodwill message here on behalf of His Excellency Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Alia, who is away from the country at the moment. We are happy to be part of this momentous occasion of this summit for 2025 for Afnis. We as a state are particularly known for our agricultural potentials, but now we are shifting our focus also to the solid mineral sector. We want to align completely with the vision of Mr. President for this sector, and we pledge our commitment to abide by all the rules and all the frameworks that are designed to promote the solid mineral sector in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Deputy Governor of Benue State, representing the Governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia. Thank you for your goodwill message. We do appreciate you. And of course, the people of Nigeria stand with the people of Benue. Once again, a round of applause for him. I have with me my colleague, and we'll be doing this together. I guess I should give him a minute to introduce himself.
All right, welcome everyone. And indeed, Afnis 2025 is starting on a very high note. My name is Wisdom Chap Jumbo, and I'm the co-host and also the host and anchor of the Energy Outlook TV show.
All right, it's now time to hear from one of our key sponsors. They have been with us since 2022. I'd like us to please put our hands together as we welcome the CEO of Thor Explorations, the one and the only, Segun Lawson. A round of applause for him as he steps forward. Let's celebrate him. Thank you very much for being with us. They have been with us, like I said, since 2022, pushing the narrative and, of course, changing the face of exploration in Nigeria. Thank you once again.
His Excellency, the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Honorable Minister, our host, Dr. Dele Alake, thank you very much. It's a true pleasure and real honor to be asked to give a goodwill message here. I would like to please stand on existing protocols for the other dignitaries here and members of the private sector as well. It's a very brief message. We have been operating in Nigeria since 2017. Initially as an exploration company, going through construction to build the Segilola gold mine, and now as a producer in Nigeria to demonstrate that large-scale gold production can be done in this country where there is an enabling environment. During that period, we have seen the evolution of the mining sector globally, in West Africa in particular, and also here in Nigeria. One of the key themes we see here is the importance of data and how we need such key, good quality data to enable us to do exploration, produce, to deal with our communities. And we've been very well encouraged by the steps the ministry has taken under the guidance of His Excellency and the various ministerial agencies in organizing the data, making it transparent and available for all the operators in the country. So I would like to take this opportunity to say a thank you, wish everybody fruitful discussions over the next couple of days, and I'm very keen to meet other operators and various stakeholders in the mining sector in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Segun Lawson. I'll quickly make some more recognitions before we get to the next goodwill message, which will be delivered by the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs from the Republic of Kenya. But before we get to that, I'll quickly want to recognize the Honorable Commissioner of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, who is here, Professor Ogbonna Joel, who is present. Many thanks. A round of applause for him, and thank you for joining us. I'd also quickly recognize Engineer Adamu Hussaini, FNSC, Chairman and CEO of Aspa and Wisdom. He is a platinum sponsor of this event. Please, let's celebrate Aspa and Wisdom. Thank you so much for joining us. Now time to listen to the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, all the way from the Republic of Kenya. Please, let's celebrate Honorable Hassan Ali Joho as he comes forward. Let's celebrate. This is Kenya being represented right here in Nigeria. Let's give him the Nigerian welcome as he comes forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, our host, Dr. Alake. Let me distinguished delegates, let me first of all begin by adding my voice in passing our sincere condolences to the people and the leadership of the Republic of Nigeria for the passing of His Excellency President Buhari, and say that we pray to the Almighty to rest his soul in eternal peace. Your Excellency, you would have seen my assistant was giving me an iPad because it had a formal speech. But I also realized when your principal secretary spoke, I asked my assistant if you guys shared my speech because the content was almost the same. But the point that I would like to send across today is that it looks like we have recognized our problem as a continent. Number one, we have procrastinated for far too long. Number two, we've made a lot of noise of our potential. Number three, we have not been decisive in relooking at the entire support architecture on our minerals. And therefore, Your Excellency and distinguished delegates, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you for convening us, because as a continent, it is time we have this meaningful conversation where we want to be and how do we want to position ourselves. It is clear we're endowed with huge, valuable or geological valuable resources that can transform our lives, ensure we position ourselves as a continent, but there are certain critical decisions that we must undertake. And it is only at summits like this where we are able to make solid and meaningful decisions. And I would like to pick one particular example in the global conversation today around minerals, which is in the definition around the world known as critical future minerals or critical minerals. Sometimes I ask myself, I am the minister in Kenya. I look after the entire minerals. I have never remembered where someone sat in a room and asked me to define what is critical for me or for my country or for the continent. So it is always defined to fit into other people's demands and needs. And therefore, I thought that I would not miss the opportunity to be in Nigeria today so that we can have a discussion on how we in the continent can be able to support one another going forward, so that we change our lives today, we prepare for the future generations. So without much ado, Your Excellency, I just want to thank you very much for inviting us, and you have our commitment, together with His Excellency the Secretary General, that we shall walk this journey together and be able to be counted as those who had meaningful contribution to the well-being of our population in creating jobs. And it is a very famous sentiment. Your Excellency, when investors come to my office, they always tell me, we want to come to Kenya and create jobs. And I tell them my problem is not jobs. My problem is how do we create wealth that remains in our countries. And I must congratulate you because I have seen you have taken the lead from the front. Because yesterday we visited a value chain extraction that goes to the very end of the product or value chain or concentrate. So I just want to say that I wish you well. You have my best wishes. You have our commitment and support. Going forward, we will work very closely together. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Okay, we can do that once more again for him. Please, round of applause for that. Just as mentioned earlier, we have partners and sponsors who have made this event a success for all of us, and we want to indeed just recognize a few of them before we move forward for the agenda for today. I'd like to recognize Asba and Wisdom International, who is a platinum sponsor. Please round of applause for them, as I mentioned. Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, please round of applause for them. We also want to recognize Geoscan Technology and Esther. Please a round of applause for them. They are all our platinum sponsors, and we did thank you for your support to make Afnis 2025 a success. Other sponsors we have here is Seglola Resources Operating Limited, who is a gold sponsor. Please a round of applause for them. Thank you so much. We also want to recognize S. Calibo Smart Mapping, a silver sponsor, and Oil Dynamics Limited. Please a round of applause for them. Please, thank you so much. I also want to recognize the Kaduna Mining Development Company Limited for your sponsorship. Thank you so much. A round of applause for them. Please, if you're clapping, let's clap better for them, please. We also want to recognize the Kaduna Electric. A round of applause for them, please. Thank you so much. We also want to recognize the state governments who have given us their overwhelming support to make Afnis 2025 a success. Government of Enugu State, Government of Nasarawa State, and Government of Plateau State. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for our sponsors. Once more, we thank you for doing that. Thank you.
All right, many thanks to our sponsors and partners. Just to let you know that we have in the room a silent force behind Nigeria's mining resurgence, a bridge between vision and execution. Of course, it is an honor to have with us the former Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Oluwatoyin Akinlade. Please, a round of applause for her. She's been with us, she's been a champion of Afnis and of course the development of natural resources in Nigeria. Thank you so much, ma'am, for all you do. We see you and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. It is also an honor to recognize with us here the Director of Corporate Services of NCDMB. Like you already heard, NCDMB are our platinum sponsors. And we have Dr. Abdulmalik Halilu present, and he's next to give a goodwill message. Please, a round of applause for him as he steps forward for his goodwill message. Dr. Abdulmalik Halilu, Director, Corporate Services, NCDMB. Please make that applause better. It will put springs on his steps as he steps forward. He's representing the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Engineer Felix Omwashola Ogbe.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Dr. Delia Leke, other dignitaries. I bring warm greetings from Engineer Felix Omwashola Ogbe, the Executive Secretary, Nigeria Content Development and Monitoring Board. NCDMB has been supporting this program because of the obvious linkage opportunities between the oil and gas industry and the mines sector. We have recognized the fact that we need to work closely with the sector for us to be able to enforce some of the provisions of the NOGIC Act. There are specific provisions in the Act that specify thresholds. For example, bay rights. You must be able to show capacity in bay rights before you can actually supply bay rights to the oil and gas industry for drilling activities. So for that to happen, we need to have that close collaboration. So NCDMB has been supporting the various bay right associations to ensure that we improve their capacity to increase their production, but also to meet the specific gravity requirement of 4.0, which is the API standards for barite supply to the oil and gas industry. We've also engaged the operators to ensure that only Nigerian qualified barite producers supply to the oil and gas industry. We have also issued regulations to ensure that we will not accept, no operator in the industry should approve any contract for non-Nigerian content compliant Bay rights producers. So all this is to encourage indigenous production and also ensure that there is a mechanization of the process to ensure that we meet the standards, the quality, and also the cost associated with delivery. The other major area of interest for us is almost 80% of what you use in the oil and gas industry in terms of equipment are still derivatives. So it was important for us to support this sector to ensure that there's the backward integration discussion where we say line pipes. For you to supply line pipes in industry, 100% must come from in-country. It means that the mining sector and the mineral sector has to play a significant role to ensure that we build those capabilities while we ensure the enforcement of every capacity that exists. So we're happy to be part of this. We'll continue our collaboration, and we wish you all the best in this very important conference. Thank you.
Please, we can do it one more time, please. Round of applause for her.
As that was going on, one of the dignitaries, ministers, walked in. Please, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, we would like to recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabo, who joined us now. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We also want to recognize the representative of Kogi State Governor, the Honorable Commissioner for Solid Minerals and Natural Resources, Honorable Abubakar Bashir Mohammed. Please, round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us for today.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to listen to another goodwill message, and this time around it will be delivered by the Ambassador of the Republic of Rwanda to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please, a round of applause for His Excellency, Ambassador Christopher Bazivamo, as he comes forward. Let's celebrate him. All right, in his absence, I think we'll move to the next goodwill message, and that will be delivered by the Deputy Head of Mission, Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany, Johannes Lane. Please, a round of applause for him as he steps forward. Let's celebrate him.
Honorable Ministers, let me stand on the already established protocol. I'm very honored to be here today to participate in this important conference on the mining industry and mineral development in Nigeria. As many of my other co-participants in this conference already underlined, this is a very important event in order to bring forward the mining industry in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. It's for me very pleasant to see that so many other countries are represented here in order to form an alliance to bring this important industry to bear in Nigeria and bring wealth to the countries and participate in the sustainable development of Africa, of Nigeria, and of the rest of the world. And I'm very happy that German companies are also here to participate in this endeavor, and I hope this will be a very successful conference. Thank you very much.
Please, one more time for him, round of applause.
Okay, we also want to recognize in our midst, as that was going on, Mr. Joseph Robinson, member of the board of Central Bank of Liberia, who just joined us. Please, round of applause for him, please. Thank you so much. To give the next goodwill message. Okay, all right.
And just before we get to the next goodwill message, it is an honor to have with us the representative of the governor of Nasarawa State here present. The governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, is here represented by Honorable Princess Margaret Elayo, the Commissioner, Nasarawa State Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources. Please, let's celebrate her. Thank you very much for joining us, ma'am. And of course, we also have with us the Vice President of the African Development Bank Group. Please, a round of applause for Professor Kevin Chika Urama. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We appreciate you.
All right, to take us forward, the next group, goodwill message, we would like to invite, representing the Minister of Mines of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Ahmed Salma Al-Bada. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes forward. Please, let's take clapping. Thank you so much, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Dr. Henry, thank you for inviting us. This is a great event. I'm honored to address all of you. From Saudi Arabia, we see Africa not as a continent, but as a nation, as a one single nation. And what strikes me every time I come to Nigeria is the motto that starts with unity. So for me, I'm here today to push forward the goodwills and wishes of Saudis towards the African nations, towards Nigeria in specific, and also towards a global view to Africa as the next continent of minerals and the next future sustainable supply chains for minerals. I'm very glad to be here today, and thank you very much for inviting us, and I hope we will have amazing dialogue as I've always had with my friend here, Honorable Minister. We always had interesting dialogues about what can the African nations do in order to move forward and progress the amazing talents and the amazing endowments that they have. And I think the most amazing endowment in Africa is its people. So I look forward to meeting you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, representative from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We do sincerely appreciate your presence for this conference. Now to give the next goodwill message, representing the Governor of Nasarawa State, let's make welcome the Commissioner as she comes forward. A round of applause for her as she steps forward for her goodwill message, of course, from the Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi Sule. Women, let's celebrate one of our own who is blazing the thrill in Nasarawa State. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our Minister, Honorable Dr. Henry Dele Aleke, all dignitaries present, I bring you warm greetings from His Excellency, the He for She Governor, who would have loved to be here, but currently being appreciated in United States for all the great work he's been doing to the state, or for the state. In Nasarawa State, we are blessed not just with minerals, but mineral resources. And we are inviting all our investors to follow the due process, because we have a leader in our Honorable Minister, Dr. Henry, who is putting everything in order to make sure that Nasarawa is captured all over the world. We thank you sincerely, and we're looking forward for a greater investment in Nasarawa State and overall in Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Nasarawa State. Our neighbors right here. for those of us who live in Abuja, and of course, many people who live in Abuja live in Nasarawa State, partners in progress, of course. A round of applause once again for Nasarawa State. And to give the next goodwill message before we get to the panel session, of course, that will be coming up shortly. And yes, we must hear from our host. But for now, let's listen to the very powerful Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, as he steps forward for his goodwill message. Let's celebrate him, please.
The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the Honorable Minister for Solid Minerals, my own dear Egbon, Dr. Dele Alake, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I crave your indulgence for sake of time to allow me to rely on the fully already established protocols. So I will go straight to my speech for today's event. I consider it a great honor to address this year's African Natural Resources and Energy Investment Summit. I want to commend the organizers for bringing together stakeholders to focus on one of the most urgent priorities in our continent's energy future, building systems that serve Africa, that are built in Africa, and that are powered by Africans. The theme, harnessing local content for sustainable development, speaks succinctly and directly to our current priorities at the Federal Ministry of Power. As global trends shift towards decentralization, digitization, and decarbonization, Nigeria is working to ensure that local content does not only remain a policy slogan, but becomes a measurable level for economic growth, industrial capacity, and energy security. With a population exceeding 200 million people, Nigeria's electricity demand continues to rise. Meeting that demand requires more than generation. It requires a clear regulatory framework, sustained investments, and local participation at every value chain level, from metering and manufacturing to system operations and grid management. Under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, we are strengthening domestic capabilities across the sector. We are driving reform to reduce import dependence, to promote exports, close infrastructural gaps, and embed local skills and technology into the core of our power strategy. Strengthening the policy and regulatory environment. The Electricity Act of 2023 has decentralized electricity governance. Today, 12 states have already assumed regulatory control over their subnational markets, unlocking investment and competition. This reform enables each state to tailor energy solutions to local needs while still contributing to national grid and regional market stability. To some of us here, we are aware that the Electricity Company of Nigeria, ECN, in the 60s, the National Electric Power Authority in the 70s to 80s and early 90s, later moved to Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PHCN, were all centralized institutions. But upon signing this bill into an act, it has paved way for decentralization of the activities in all segments of the power sector value chain, from generation to transmission to distribution. That is the only way we can provide effective energy delivery to over 200 million Nigeria across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. That is decentralization. Then it has also allowed for liberalization, which has now allowed private sector investors to bring in funds and invest in all segments of the power sector value chain, unlike we used to have the exclusive preserve to federal government alone investing in the power sector. We have developed and presented two foundational planning documents, the National Integrated Electricity Policy and the Integrated Resource Plan. These frameworks now guide power sector planning, prioritizing least cost solutions, optimizing resource use, and clear investment pathways. This is now the guidance to all investors in the power sector value chain. Furthermore, it is evident that due to our transformative tariff reforms, the market has generated an additional 700 billion naira in revenue, reflecting a 70% increase in the sector revenue. This results from the cost-reflective tariff adjustment for Band A customers. Market revenue for 2024 rose from 1 trillion naira in 2023 to 1.7 trillion naira in 2024. This growth in market revenue is unprecedented, as the highest growth previously achieved was a maximum of 20%. This positively impacts the reduction of the government-subsidized tariff shortfall by 35%, decreasing or reducing it from 3 trillion to 1.9 trillion naira. This demonstrates that financial viability and service delivery can coexist harmoniously. In April 2025, we operationalized the Nigeria Independent System Operator, NISO, effectively separating grid operation and transmission ownership. This reform improves efficiency, accountability, and market confidence. So it is not surprising that for 8 months running now, since December 2024, we have not witnessed any form of grid collapse. Thank you. Driving local content through investment and execution. We are using energy access and energy transition to drive domestic production, technology transfer, and employment. The Energizing Education Program, EEP, is adding 100 megawatts of clean energy across 37 federal universities and 7 teaching hospitals. EEP 3 is now 70% complete. This is really taking off the burden of energy costs from our tertiary, educational, and health institutions, as energy delivery will now be consistent with our universities and the teaching hospitals. The DARES project, backed by a $750 million World Bank facility and a $190 million loan from Japan, targets over 17.5 million Nigerians through decentralized, private sector-led electrification with productive use applications for small and medium-scale enterprises and agricultural production. Through the Africa Mini Grid Program, we have secured $5.91 million in grants across 23 projects, delivering 948 megawatts of new renewable capacity in partnership with 10 renewable energy service companies, RESCOs. New meter test stations in Kano and Benin are nearing completion. These facilities will ensure quality assurance for meters assembled and produced locally, raising consumer trust and protecting investor capital. This will also accelerate the elimination or reduction in the huge metering gap that we currently have in the power sector. We are working closely with the Solar Energy Manufacturers Alliance of Nigeria to expand domestic assembly lines and deepen localization in solar infrastructure. Sincerely, the issue of local content is so important to the power sector that we believe that the humongous amount of foreign currency that we spend on importing solar panels, on importing meters, on importing batteries can actually be conserved. It's a lot of money on a yearly basis, and we've got the natural resources to make sure that we produce our solar panels locally, that we produce our meters locally and our batteries locally. What we require for the batteries, we have huge deposit of lithium across the country. So why continue to expend our hard-earned foreign currency on importation of all these items? But the good news is that we have received lot and lot of positive response of companies, foreign companies that are interested in establishing the local industry and produce all these things. And a number of them have actually started production. This will also reduce the turnaround timing of installations of our power sector gadgets instead of waiting for opening of Form M, importation of these items, clearing from the port and all that. So we can easily buy them locally and use them immediately. Then building the workforce for a decentralized energy future. A major part of this local content is building local capacity, building local competence, and building local staffing. The power sector, a lot of our major personnel are expatriates. And the issue of training and local capacity has been reduced to the barest minimum. NEPA, PHCN used to train our engineers on a yearly basis. But today, the privatized companies in generation, in distribution, are paying little attention to training and developing local capacity. So we have come up with programs within the Power Ministry, using our National Power Training Institute to ensure that at the minimum, we train 200 engineers on a yearly basis, so that in the next 10 years, we can actually boast of nothing less than 2,000 trained power engineers. So the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, is delivering practical training in solar PV, mini-grid design, wiring, and digital metering, targeting both technical competence and employment outcomes. These programs directly support ongoing projects and increase the pipeline of qualified local technicians. Through the Next Gen Rescues training program, NAPTIN and the Rural Electrification Agency are training 130 participants, balanced 50-50 across gender and drawn from all 6 geopolitical zones. The program prepares graduates for leadership roles in mini-grid development, in operations and commercial management. This is a way of ensuring that our youth are provided employment, and the issue of unemployment becomes a thing of the past. We need to develop expertise in all these renewable energy space. And scaling regional integration and market opportunities. Nigeria is a committed partner in the Dar es Salaam Declaration and an active contributor to Mission 300. Mission will remain focused on universal energy access and a credible path to net zero emissions by year 2060. Mission 300 is a World Bank and AFDB program that targets providing electricity access to 300 million Africans between now and year 2030. This will achieve a 50% reduction in 600 million people that currently lack access to energy in Africa. I would believe that this will impact positively on the economy, on the well-being, and on the prosperity of Africans within the next 5 years. We are a key signatory to this, and we participated actively, delivering our compact at Dar es Salaam in Tanzania in January 2025. We are strengthening cross-border transmission through the West African Power Pool, expanding links to Benin, Niger, Togo, and Ghana. We are also participating in the ECOWAS regional electricity market, which presents significant opportunities for Nigeria's generation capacity and grid infrastructure. This will ensure that there is proper integration of electricity access within the West Africa sub-region, while we are targeting the entire Africa integration. In conclusion, local content must be measurable. It must not only be measurable, it must translate to jobs, must be visible in our supply chains, in our technical skills, and we must retain value within the country. Nigeria's power sector reform is not about theory, but execution. Like I always say that we have gone past the days of lamentation. We have gone past the days of diagnosis, finding out, fact-finding of what is happening. We already know this. We have compiled practical and workable solutions, and we're actually in the space for full execution and implementation of these workable solutions. Our progress so far reflects a serious commitment to doing the hard work required to deliver a sustainable, investable, and resilient power sector. We're ready to power with governments, private investors, and develop institutions on projects that deliver results, respect local capability and scale with visible and major impacts. I want to appreciate your presence here and participation in this program. I hope our discussions today will be focused, will be future-oriented, and rooted in the importance of the work before us. Thank you very much, and I wish us a fruitful deliberation.
Please, a round of applause for the Honorable Minister for Power, Chief Adelabo. Thank you so much, sir. The ministry is doing quite a lot of things, and we indeed must commend your work, Honorable Minister.
Indeed, the Honorable Minister of Power, a visionary leader with the political courage to think big, to act bold, and deliver fast. Once again, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much for that message and what you're doing in the power sector. Quickly, I'd like to make some more recognitions. Honorable Sir Johnny, the Senior Economic Advisor to the President of Liberia, is here present. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much for joining us. Mrs. Usubana Unko Asaya, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, is also here present representing the Honorable Minister. Thank you very much. It's now time to get to listen to our chief host. Now, he is the bold reformer charting a new course for Nigeria's mineral wealth. He's fearless in his pursuit of value addition, transparency, and African resilience. As chair of the Africa Minerals Strategy Group, he's leading the continental conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we make welcome our chief host, the one and the only Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals Development right here in Nigeria, Dr. Oladele Alake.
As we welcome the Honorable Minister, we also want to let you know that we are live on the Nigeria Television Authority across all channels for this event. Thank you so much.
Please sit down. Your Excellencies, especially the ministers from sister African countries, and especially my brother, the Minister of Mines from Kenya, Ali Hassan Joho. We have been crossing paths at various fora, various international fora, and he has been one very inspirational personality, very passionate about the development of minerals in Africa, and extremely enthusiastic about the collaboration of African countries in achieving our continental aim of lifting Africa from the shackles of poverty and subjugation, which has characterized our narrative in Africa for centuries. Thank you very much for being here. All my colleagues, as represented from other African countries, the senior advisor to the president of Liberia, also a brother, my brother from another mother, as we say in Nigeria, the advisor to the minister in Saudi, who has been very, very eloquent, both on and off officialdom, You are very welcome. And please extend my greetings to my brother, the minister in Riyadh. Your Excellencies, the ambassadors and their representatives, Your Excellency, the Secretary General of the African Mineral Strategy Group, Honorable Moses Egando, who is my very able secretary in that continental body, you are heartily welcome. And my esteemed Aburo in Yoruba language, is a fond definition of a brother, the Nigerian Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu. I would not want to divulge his next designation yet, but it's loading. You're welcome. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Solid Minerals, a very indefatigable engineer, YFY, as we fondly call him. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, investors, captains of industry, operators in the mineral sector, and all and sundry. I'm here wearing two caps. The President of Nigeria was supposed to declare this event open. But as we are all aware, this is a solemn period for us in Nigeria, and especially for our President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, who is the chief mourner of the current loss of a dearly departed former head of state, Muhammadu Buhari. So for this obvious reason, he is unable to undertake any official assignment for now. There is a 7-day national mourning period declared. So I'm standing in for him, and I'm also standing in for myself as the chief host of the event. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it really is my great pleasure and rare honor to welcome you to this event and to be before you to lay the continental objective, not just a national objective, but a continental objective of uplifting our energy and mineral resources in Africa. And not just to lay the tone or set the tone, but to also actively take part in all the narratives and discussions that would emanate herefrom. So, as I said, it is a great honor to welcome you to this fourth edition of the African Natural Resources and Energy Investment Summit here in Abuja, the Nigeria's federal capital. As host, Nigeria is very proud to welcome leaders, investors, and experts from the mining, energy, power, and finance sectors worldwide to engage in transformational conversations that will set the tone for the future of our continent. Therefore, this summit is not just for exchanging ideas, but we seek to build a future where Africa's natural wealth is no longer a statistic in someone else's report. We aspire to a continent where its natural wealth serves as a driving force for industrial growth, equity, and sustainable development. In line with the aspirations of Agenda 2063, this gathering marks a very decisive step towards a development model anchored on our priorities. Today, Africa is at a crossroad. Our continent boasts a wealth of natural resources which hold immense potential for meeting sustainable development goals. This year, for instance, electricity generation in the continent's energy market is estimated to reach 866.8 billion kilowatt hours, growing at an annual rate of 1.75% from 2025 to 2029. Much of this will be consumed in residential areas, leaving the rest for transportation and industry. North Africa still leads in access to electricity, followed by Southern, West, and East Africa. Central Africa is expected to catch up with other parts of the continent in due course. Now, faced with this challenge, African countries are pressing the pedal to full throttle to mobilize resources and attract investments into their energy sectors. Over 40% of Africa's electricity is sourced from natural gas and 28% from coal, 17% from hydropower. In Nigeria, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, as has been eloquently enumerated by our power minister, is currently implementing the presidential compressed natural gas (CNG) initiative to reduce the demand for petroleum, and Nigerians have embraced it with zeal and enthusiasm. According to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority, at least 2,500 vehicles converted to CNG at the authority's 186 centers nationwide. In 2024 alone, the statistics for 2025 is still being compiled. These conversions have increased the number of Nigerian gas vehicles to approximately 50,000 and attracted over $400 million in investment. The conversation around climate change and emissions reduction is very critical. But for us, it cannot be separated from the realities of development. Luckily, Africa's emission rate is considered the lowest in the world. Much of the emission in Africa originates from Southern Africa, which relies heavily on coal, and Libya, which relies heavily on fossil fuels. This gives us a very critical advantage in planning. Our energy transition must not come at a cost of industrialization, food, security, or inclusive growth. For Nigeria and Africa as a whole, this means powering farms and factories, not shutting them down. It means creating new industries, not dismantling the ones that we already have. We are determined to chart our own course. Nigeria's National Energy Transition Plan is not just a roadmap. It is a commitment to create thousands of green jobs while cutting emissions in a way that does not disrupt our social fabric. From scaling up natural gas use as a cleaner transition fuel to deploying solar mini grids in remote areas, we are implementing practical solutions to bring light, dignity, and opportunity to millions of our people. Energy access in our context is not a luxury, it is the foundation of progress. Every additional megawatt we generate and distribute means a child who can study at night. It means a business that can grow. It means a hospital that can save lives. Nigeria is already part of the ECOWAS power pool, and we are committed to deepening regional integration through projects like the Nigerian-Benin Interconnector and the planned grid link with Cameroon. These are not just power lines, they are economic lifelines. They carry investment, enable trade, and boost resilience. Imagine a scenario where surplus hydropower from Ghana during the rainy season helps stabilize Nigeria's hydropower and grid, or excess gas-fired electricity in Nigeria helps to support our neighbors during peak demands. Interconnection makes all of this possible, allowing countries to optimize their generation, reduce redundant investments, attract larger scale capital, and deliver affordable power to more people. Realizing this vision, therefore, requires more than good intentions. It demands bold investments, regional cooperation, and modern technology. We are already working with partners to mobilize blended financing, harness the support of development banks, and tap into green bond markets. We are also introducing innovative grid technologies and advanced systems to integrate variable renewable energy sources very effectively. Our goal is not just simply to make our grids larger, but to make them smarter, more stable, and climate resilient. Just as critical as energy is, the future of Africa's mineral wealth is more critical to us. Nigeria is home to over 40 types of minerals, including gold, lithium, tin, coal, and rare earth elements. A few of these resources are central to the global energy transition. Yet, they often remain unprocessed on our shores. This is the paradox that we must confront. Africa has been a supplier of raw materials for far too long. And of course, in doing so, we've forfeited jobs, industrial growth, and absolute economic sovereignty. This must end now. The actual value of our minerals lies not in the dust and rock, but in the refined products, batteries, alloys, steel, and technologies that emerge when we process them ourselves locally. Our campaign for value addition, therefore, began with a renewed consciousness to preserve and maximize our mineral wealth, thereby gaining more market value and translating to a better life for our people. This campaign is the reason for the foundation and formation of the Africa Mineral Strategy Group, the influential association of mining ministers in Africa, which I have the privilege of chairing. At our 6th interministerial meeting recently, we took far-reaching decisions on the need to further regulate the exports of raw minerals by insisting on processing them before exportation. Significantly, the MSG also considered a proposal that I laid before the meeting to adopt and apply the recently developed African Mineral and Energy Resources Classification and Management System, acronym AMREC, and the Pan-African Resources Reporting Code, PAC. This capacity building initiative is good news for Africa. It provides a mineral resource reporting framework across the continent, boosts investor confidence, promotes comparative evaluation of assets, and increases access to development financing. Africa's mining ministers have resolved to push this code and ensure that the framework is used for reporting geological exploration on public and private sector projects within their jurisdictions. The AMREC Park framework represents a very significant step forward in Africa's Geological Survey Institution's efforts to develop a homegrown certification regime of all systems and compete effectively with the certification regimes of other countries and other continents. I want to recommend it to all participants here formally, and very soon we shall table the appropriate regulations to compel compliance. We shall also brief the National Assembly in Nigeria to ensure that it forms part of the ongoing review of Nigeria's mineral laws. And thanks to the renewed hope agenda of our president, we have implemented sweeping reforms to formalize mining and boost domestic value addition. In 2023 alone, the Ministry of Solid Minerals launched a 7-point agenda focused on formalization and value addition in mining. New policies now require every mining license to include a plan for local processing, and we have increased enforcement in this area. These changes have spurred a surge of investment and revenue. Last year, Nigeria's mining sector secured over $800 million in investment for processing projects, while government revenues jumped and increased significantly. Specifically, the sector revenues rose from 6 billion naira, which was recorded in 2023, to 38 billion naira in 2024. This six-fold jump reflects tight licensing, a crackdown on illegal mining, and a policy that promotes mineral processing in line with value addition. Licensing has expanded sharply under the reforms. In Q1 of 2025 alone, the Mining Cadastral Office processed 955 title applications, and we approved 867 new mining licenses, 512 exploration titles, 295 small-scale licenses and leases, and 60 quarry leases, and 5 large mining leases. These licensing fees generated about 7 billion for the government in just 3 months of this year. This aggressive licensing drive, we've recorded over 10,000 applications in just 1 quarter, combined with compliance and checks, is a key reason for the revenue increases. The government has commissioned Nigeria's first domestic lithium processing plant. For example, we inaugurated a $100 million lithium battery plant, the Avatar Energy, in Nasarawa State in May of 2024, with a daily capacity of 4,000 tons, expected to generate 4,000 jobs as well. More plants are coming online as we speak. A $600 million lithium plant near the Kaduna-Niger border, to be commissioned very shortly by the president, and a $200 million refinery on Abuja's outskirts are in advanced stages. our regulation now is there will be no new mining licenses issued without a local processing plan, ensuring that these investments retain value in country. To leverage its lithium and other minerals, Nigeria is fostering the battery and electric vehicle industries. NASENI and the Rural Electrification Agency signed a $150 million deal in 2023 to build a lithium ore battery manufacturing and processing factory. This initiative is part of the COP28 climate partnership, which will produce batteries domestically and contribute to job creation, economic growth, and the extractive industry in Nigeria. Likewise, plans are underway to establish electric vehicle assembly plants in Nigeria. And as I once stated, with abundant lithium, the goal is to see local manufacturing of electric vehicles and batteries here in Nigeria. These steps anchor Nigeria deeper in the electric vehicle battery supply chain and create high-skilled jobs locally. And to cap it all, we recently announced plans to build Africa's largest rare and critical earths and critical minerals elements production facility here in Nigeria at a whopping sum of $400 million. This is direct foreign investment that is coming in. And this is by Hastings Limited. We are confident that this project will meet its construction target, as the company already has installed capacity for 6,000 metric tons and is adding a capacity to produce an additional 12,000 metric tons. It also complements the government's poverty reduction and employment policies by developing a system that will engage over 10,000 Nigerians in artisanal mining jobs. All of these reforms are explicitly aimed at jobs and local value. For example, the Nasarawa lithium plant alone is expected to employ thousands of people, and the battery projects will require the hiring of engineers and technicians. On the artisanal mining side, our formalization programs have organized over 250 mining cooperatives, absorbing tens of thousands of informal miners into the formal economy of Nigeria. These cooperatives provide access to credit, training, and guaranteed purchasing, dramatically improving the miners' incomes. Across the continent, we must replicate this shift. We should be building green industrial zones where gas becomes fertilizer, limestone becomes cement, and lithium becomes battery storage. The Dangote industrial complexes in Nigeria already demonstrate what is possible when we prioritize local content and integrate value chains. Let us therefore establish more such investments across Africa, not just in one city or in one country, but in every region. To achieve this, we require African capital and ownership. And that is why in Nigeria we have the Solid Minerals Development Fund to support small-scale miners, build critical infrastructure, and mitigate investment risk in exploration and processing. And that is why we are establishing the Nigerian Solid Minerals Company as a special purpose vehicle to attract the big players, global players, into our solid minerals sector. And that is why you and I are attending this Afnis. We are now attending this Afnis to create a sustainable and profitable future for our natural resources. The launch of the Africans for Africa Fund under Afnis further reinforces this agenda. We want to see our pension funds, banks, and sovereign funds investing in extractive future. When Africans own the value chain, the benefits surely will multiply. Let this summit, therefore, be the place where bold commitments are made and where value addition becomes a shared continental goal. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, as we invite investment, we must be clear. We are not looking for charity, nor are we outsourcing our development. We welcome partners, those who see Africa not just as a source of raw materials, but as a destination for innovation, manufacturing, and shared value. We seek partnerships that are fair. We seek partnerships that are fair, transparent, and founded on mutual respect. This means joint ventures where African companies and communities have real equity. It means insisting on local content policies that foster skills development and supply chain growth. It means securing fair financing so we are not burdened with unsustainable debt, but instead empowered to co-create prosperity for all. Nigeria is very proud to have collaborated with regional partners such as the African Finance Corporation to de-risk projects in mining and infrastructure. Such a model where African institutions finance African priorities must be scaled up all across the continent of Africa. The future of this continent will not be written in Washington or Beijing. It will be written in Abuja, in Cairo, in Addis Ababa, in Pretoria, in Kinshasa, and other African cities. Your Excellencies and colleagues and friends, the time to act is now. Let us not speak of Africa as a continent of problems, but we speak of Africa as a continent of possibilities. Let this summit in Abuja be remembered as a moment when African ambition was matched with action, when we came together not as individual nations, but as a unified bloc determined to build a new chapter of industrial power and energy sovereignty. As Patrice Lumumba once said, Africa will write its own history. I, Dele Alake, I now say, Africa must write its own history. And let us ensure that it is a history of dignity, of enterprise, of transformation. And here in Abuja, let us all raise our collective voice, commit to real change, and begin building a future powered by African minerals, fueled by African energy, and led by the African resolve. Nigeria stands ready. Let us move forward together. Thank you very much.
Please, let's do better for the Honorable Minister and our chief host of Afnis 2025. That was indeed a powerful presentation.
Not just powerful, that was solid, like the minerals we are here for. From the Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals Development right here in Nigeria, the chief architect of bold reforms and African resource sovereignty. I told you at the beginning of this event that from lithium to legislation, we are covering all areas in Afnis 2025. Once again, a round of applause for the Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals Development right here in Nigeria. For many people who know him, they call him the chief architect of the Nigeria's mining reform strategy. He leads the charge towards sustainable, transparent, and globally competitive resource development in Nigeria and, of course, in Africa. Once again, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. It's now time to progress on the agenda, but just before we do that, we'll make some more recognitions. And Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, permit me to introduce with us here the former Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Mary Ogbe. She's here represented by Mrs. Amadi. Many thanks for joining us, ma'am. And of course, we have the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, Dr. Chinyere Ijoma Akujobi, who is here present representing the Honorable Minister of the Ministry of Livestock Development. Also present is the Chairman, Fellow of the Geological Society of London, Dr. Aminu Abdullahi Ishaku. He is from the UNESCO International Geoscience and Geoparks Program, Nigeria National Committee. Please, a round of applause for them. Once again, everyone, a round of applause for yourselves. Thank you so much.
All right, so next we're going to invite our chief host and of course the Honorable Minister of Power and other dignitaries on the front row to please come on stage for a group photo. And then after that, we'll head for the opening of the exhibition, only the dignitaries.
All right, so we have the photograph now. We like all our VIPs in front to please join the Honorable Minister.
Yes, please.
All representatives of governors here present would also like you to join. Permanent secretaries, all representatives of ministers, our key sponsors, all our platinum sponsors, our gold sponsors, our partners would also like you to join in this photograph. Everyone, please come forward quickly.
And after this, we'll now head to open officially the exhibition for Afnis 2025. Please note, this will be done by only the dignitaries, as we did want to make this very quickly and then rush back to continue the session for today. So note only the dignitaries will head for the opening of the exhibitions for a couple of minutes, and then we're back to the hall to complete the session. Please, we would like that the photograph is coordinated quickly. Photographers, please, let's be orderly, please.
All right, while the photograph session is ongoing, those who are in charge of the booths as regards the tour, I would like you to please go open your booths so that the dignitaries can go through that segment of this occasion before we progress to some very, very important aspects of this event, which of course is the presentations and the panel sessions, which will kickstart shortly. As already mentioned, this program is live on the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest TV network, and this is the 4th edition of Afnis, African Natural Resources and Energy Investment Summit, with the theme Harnessing Local Content for Sustainable Development. And we are emphasizing Africa's growing ability to develop its natural resource wealth by building robust local value chains. Many thanks, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. Thank you very much. As they go back to their seats, we'd like every other person to remain seated. Dr. Mariam Shikafi.
Now our dignitaries will now head to the exhibition led by our chief host, who will now lead all dignitaries to the opening of the exhibition area. All exhibitors would like you to now quickly head to your booths. The chief host will now lead the dignitaries to formally open the exhibition area. And then we're back to the hall. Please, only the dignitaries, while the rest of us remain seated as we come back quickly.
Ushers would like you to please help us coordinate this. All other participants of the summit are supposed to remain seated. Only the dignitaries will head to the exhibition stand to have a tour of it, after which we will be back rather the dignitaries will be back. This session continues, and it's about time to listen to NCMDB as they speak on local content as a driver of economic transformation. That would come up shortly. But for now, we'll have brief musical interlude before we continue with that segment. I already did. They said she has a Please would like all other participants of the summit to remain seated. This will be very brief. The tour of the exhibition stand will be very brief, and we will be back to continue. Thank you very much.